the two most boring people. They're going to give birth to a doorstop.
Yeah.
Keep doing this stuff right now because I'm about to go live. So
Cool.
just
Wait.
Gary disappears sometimes throughout the show. So if he does, just what you have to do is you have to hold your breath and just believe in Gary and believe he comes back. Okay.
And then he comes back.
Yeah. But if you
I just share.
If people don't believe enough, Gary dies.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
So you got to believe in Gary.
Bill McDonald realized the show's name, Co-Host to Co-Host, was a Coast to Coast reference a few weeks back. Did we talk about this already?
No, that's fine.
He thought he was making this grand reveal.
Yeah.
He was like, it's like, did you notice, though, the name? And I was like, yeah, yeah.
Different coasts.
Yeah, and that's what he said. He's like, because they're on different coasts. I'm like, yeah, Bill, that's the name of the show.
I thought that was brilliant. I was like, that's a great name for a show.
Great name for a show, but to think that you noticed it and it was a deep cut that you figured out.
Did he just think that a lot of people wouldn't get the reference, but he did, or did he think that we didn't realize that when we named it?
No. I think he thought that it was a really subtle joke you guys made.
Yeah.
that he was like, do you get it?
Yeah. People call the show Coast to Coast all the time, and I don't correct them because I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's what
Oh, but what I just realized now is that, but you're co-hosts. So, okay, that's.
Hey!
Dude! Whoa! Let's go! With Creany and the Gipper.
I've already stopped committing.
Co-host to co-host. Red-faced host from Blue States.
That's funny. It's been a minute.
It has been.
And you doing okay?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
I'm almost on fire right now.
How far away is the fire from you right now?
About a mile.
That's close. What's that in feet?
Nobody knows. I kind of regret that I haven't swept the forest in a little bit. I feel like it is my fault.
I also feel bad because I was on Facebook and I saw someone doing a gender reveal thing, and I was like, man, I wish that next time someone did something like that, they would just catch on fire. So I also feel bad.
Yeah, I heard they lost the baby.
What?
I don't know. I hope. Is it too far? No. I'm from Massachusetts. Go Sox! And we grew up with lightning and blizzards and all that other BS.
Lightning. I think lightning is. I don't think that. I know that Benjamin Franklin had a lightning thing, but I think that was in Pennsylvania. But I don't think that Massachusetts has more lightning than other places.
Oh, sure they do. You got a lot of lightning there. I was a mailman for a summer. There's plenty of lightning. I guess you get more rain.
There's a lot of.
George
That was
Clooney,
a perfect
guy. Is a perfect lightning. What I am disappointed in, more than anything, is every night we get updates from the brave men, women, and mostly prisoners that are fighting this fire. And for a town that is known for captivating films and audiences around the world being enamored by the story, they have chosen the most boring person in the fire safety sector to update us nightly. There's no spice to it. There's no, we've got to go on. I want more of that. I want compelling. There's a lot of out of work actors is all I'm saying. But to tune in and just to hear, it's October 2nd and we made some progress mopping on the east side and Highway 2. And if you go down Highway 2, you can see some smoke, and smoke is bad. The fires are bad, and where we're doing it matter.
It's just a matter, you gotta chip away at the fire. You just gotta, it's simple solutions, bit by bit, to contain the blaze and make sure that it doesn't spread. That's the main thing, is to contain the spread. Once it stops spreading, then we can start putting it out. But First thing is to slow and ultimately stop the spread of the blaze.
Fires were invented in the early years of human life, stones being struck together and was having a important have a campfire.
Rob, you're a professional actor.
I am, yes. I'm a professional actor.
You recently did some acting work. Could you tell us a little bit about what had happened?
Casting agency asked me to send a self-tape. Everything's self-tape now because of the pandemic, of some lines for a movie. And I just thought, well, it'd probably be more interesting to watch if I just taped myself playing all of the parts in the scene and then edited them together. And so I spent a lot of time doing that. And then I sent it in and I said, is this too much? And they immediately emailed back, yes, this is too much. Can you send one that's just you?
Could you do Casablanca for us, Rob? Where you do all the parts.
Rick, you can't leave me here in Casablanca. Dame, I gotta leave. That's what I do, is I leave and I get out of here on a plane. Wait, I thought I was supposed to be getting on the plane. Oh, that's right. I stay, you leave. That's the deal, broad. You get on that plane, because if you don't, later on, you're going to be like, I should have got on that plane. But I don't want to get on the plane. I get air sickness. You get on that plane, because if you don't, later on, you'll be like, oh, should have got on the plane. How's that?
I'd say that you should look for a call Monday.
Audition playing all the parts for Philadelphia with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington.
Oh, sure. This is a real crazy town. Cheesesteaks. Look out, eagles. Hang on a second. Oh, I'm so witchy. What's going on over here? Let me go over to the tent. Let me go to this football tent. I'm a doctor in Philly. Want me to throw batteries on it? Oh, no, you got fucking AIDS and shit. I think that was pretty good.
That's spot on.
I've never seen Philadelphia, and now I feel like I don't need to.
Yeah.
You don't need to. Kristina Smarz, could you do The Godfather?
I'm a godfather, and I'm your godfather, and your godfather, and here's my cat, and there's a horse in your bed. Go fuck yourself, huh? Yeah. That was the movie, right?
That's pretty good. Now,
That's pretty good.
Matt Wilding, I know that you are a huge fan of the classic Universal horror pictures. Could you give us a scene with you playing all the parts from the original Frankenstein?
This is the scene where the Dr. Victor Frankenstein's fiance, his betrothed, and also his father, and the best man for their wedding, who also seems to be not a friend of Victor Frankenstein's, but a friend of his betrothed, all meet with Fritz, who is the hunchback. So here we go.
We're out of time, actually.
Great. That's great. I need to focus on my work and who is at the door. Check who's at the door.
But master, we could use the Ring doorbell app.
I need to focus on my work. Bong, bong, bong. Oh, are you there? I miss you so much. My son's such a lazy person when he could be a lazier person not doing work. I love you secretly, miss. Oh, I miss my husband-to-be. That's the whole thing.
It reminds me of when the four of us used to reenact scenes from Steel Magnolias together.
I'm going to have to concede I've never seen this movie either.
Oh, you get the idea. It's Southern ladies in a beauty shop.
Oh, sure.
That also own a steel mill.
I think I'm now conflating it with the Charlize Theron movie Monster.
Yeah, let's just do all.
Oh, yeah.
We'll do a scene where Kristina and I know what movie you're talking about, and you guys don't know. And you guys think it's a different movie. Let's go. How long I gotta let this sit?
Mama, you look like you got a football helmet on your head. I don't feel so good.
Hey, cutting it up. Oops. I made a birdhouse for my grandson on the job. Hope I don't get caught.
Well, Claire, I love coming to this beauty parlor and spreading around gossip.
Well, I'm a monster. Wait, are we doing? I got raped and now I hate all men.
Oh, is that what happens in Monster?
Yeah.
Oh, heavens.
Don't ask me, lady. I'm just here for the HVAC system.
I'm going to kill you methodically.
This is the uplifting programming that you guys are designing for people stuck at home, huh?
Yeah.
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 You know
We have dozens of viewers. the final scene that we all have to do is why limit it to just screen? Why not the stage?
Sure.
Could we do the titular duel from Hamilton?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Rippity rap rap. Oops, I'm dead. Back to the grave, and that's the end.
Bang.
Ouch. Hamilton. I
think that's it.
My shot.
Okay.
All of you were Freedom Trail guides, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So you all know history and shit.
I know a lot of history in that 1 mile, and then outside of that,
It's just gone.
but that one, 2.3 square. What is it? What's how long is
I
it?
think it's 2.5 is how they usually list it.
You've worked
yeah.
there for 12 years, Rob.
Who cares?
And you were like the famous guy. Like you were the one that everybody be like, oh, this is a picture of a guy from the Freedom Trail.
Yeah, they gave you the golden
this
diaper of the city.
It was the state's golden diaper, not the city.
Wow.
Big deal.
Yeah, if the city acknowledged, you'd be getting somewhere.
Christina, have you ever yelled at a Freedom Trail employee?
Yeah, she's yelled at me.
Of course I have, yeah.
Do you guys have favorite heckles of either to give or receive?
Yeah, I'm under the impression that I'm partially responsible for the duck tours stopping having their guides encourage people to yell quack, quack. Because if you don't remember, the duck boats used to drive by crowds of people and everyone would yell quack, quack at them, which was really annoying when I was trying to do a tour. So I actually trained my groups to yell back at the boats, bang, bang, because ducks hate that. And we got some calls.
Especially because you would do the dog from Duck Hunt thing where you'd go.
Yep.
I would just harass the tour guides like I would any Scottish man and just ask them what they were wearing under their costumes.
Under Armour.
What's going on under there, huh? Huh? Are you really colonial? Huh? Show me your musket.
Yeah.
That always made me so angry when you would be walking and someone would be like, I bet you got a cell phone in that pocket. Like, you don't get to call me out if I don't have it out. Like, if I have my cell phone out and you're like, hey, you have cell phones back then? I do hate you, but I get that I get it. But if I don't have the cell phone out and you're like, you probably have a cell phone.
Someone lost their family on the tour,
they
their
passed
2
away?
kids. The kids went to the bathroom and didn't come back. This woman's panicking. Okay, let me call the visitor center and see if they're there. And someone comes up and goes, you didn't have cell phones back then?
Yep.
A child is missing.
There was once a salesman for a trolley company who assaulted a 7 or 8 year old child, just attacked the child. And the parents brought the child to the visitor information center on Boston Common and complained. So police were called. And when the guy was asked about it, he was like, well, the kid was wearing a Yankees hat. Like, that was totally an acceptable answer as to why you would attack a 7-year-old child. Wearing a Yankees hat. What are you going to do?
Cops were like, you're in the right.
Maybe, but he's 7. He knows better. Come on.
One of the things I hated the most, and it's irrational, I don't know why I hated it, when you would be selling for a tour and you're at the visitor center where the Freedom Trail begins, people would come out, they'd be going off on their own, and they'd say, all right, you just follow the red bricks, and then people go, oh, the yellow brick road. And it would make me so angry because it's connecting two similar things in a way that a joke is, but it is not at all funny. And something about that just enraged me every time I heard it. And I am fully aware that that is on me, that is a reasonable thing for people to say, and it is irrational that I get so angry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you guys feel about that?
I apologized for all the times I said it to you. And I'm upset that you would bring it up now.
That could have been a text message for
Yeah,
sure.
that was easy enough. Easy enough, Rob, but fine.
Yeah, it's the first time you guys have talked in probably like 4 months, right?
A while,
Great time to confront you about something.
Yeah, I mean, since episode 3, I think.
And my body just took over, and I started like jumping up and down. It's like, no, my pants, my pants, my pants.
Oh, cool. Christina was invited on the show before me. Cool.
Rob, you look angry, and I think I know why.
It's my face. This is doing my face.
Yeah. Just everything you haven't accomplished, your outfit, where you live. Ugh.
Yeah, the kitchen floor alone.
I've never seen a roach leave in disgust.
This fucking kitchen floor. So in my kitchen floor, there is a tile that is missing. And Matt would come over to my house and make fun of it all the time. And I would say, every time he would bring it up, I would say, you did this. It's your fault. And he used to live with me. And so I understand he thought that I meant that it was from when he used to live here.
No, I didn't. I know when it happened.
Now you do. But
no, I remember when it happened.
No, because you kept like making fun of me. And I kept being like, you did this. And then finally you're like, I didn't do it. And then I said, yes, you did. You were over here brewing beer with Bill and you spilt syrup and then you stepped on it because you were drunk and pulled up the tile. And you were like, oh shit. Yeah, I did do that. And you'd made fun of me like probably 5 times already for the missing tile.
I'll let it slide because it's your show, but I don't think that's what happened.
That is absolutely what happened.
It's also like the most hipster story you could have ever told about a party foul. Like, well, you were there and your maple syrup got all over the place. And,
your maple syrup.
Yeah, the bottom of your Timberland boot got stuck in. Because your pants were pegged so hard that
I've always really admired how lovingly Kristina Smarz can articulate how much she hates me. It's like really.
I'm already looking forward to editing this one.
Oh yeah.
A 3-minute episode.
Ugh, it's going to be a lot of work. That's very exciting. But we briefly mentioned earlier, you do have your debut stand-up comedy album coming out, Yellow Belt Confidence. It's very exciting.
I can't tour on anything, and so pre-order links up on my Instagram at Comedy Gary P. But Rob, you've got a couple albums in the same label.
I also put out 2 albums this year on Dead Mellow Records, which is a great label that our friends run. You know, you had done a lot of touring before this, but I never really left. I've never left Massachusetts actually. So I was kind of looking forward to, try and tour to promote the album, and then the pandemic happened. And so there's just so many things that I hear about touring comics talking about that I never got to experience. Like I never got to stay in like a comedy condo. I never got to, do like morning radio or have sex with a woman. I was really hoping that those things would happen for me touring for the album, but
we have a special treat.
I'm gonna have sex with
Matt. No, I couldn't make that happen if I. Rob, why don't we transform ourselves into a morning zoo crew, KQLX, and we're back. We've got Rob Creany here. He's going to make us chuckle all the way to the zoo this weekend at the Chuckle Hunt Funny Bone matchup. Rob Creany, Comedy Zone. He's here. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, speak a little slower for us. Rob, we've got tickets for your event this weekend. You're doing a little bit of comedy. Why don't you tell us about your comedy album?
Well, I got a new album out called Sadly Sackerton, and it's sort of an unusual comedy album that it deals with a lot of kind of sadder topics, depression and heartbreak. But I think that there's still a lot of laughs in there. It's a fun as well as a thought-provoking record.
You talking about anything below the belt?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, get some dirty stuff in there.
That's pretty good. Now, I understand you want to defund the police.
Well, I think it's a complex issue, and I think that the way policing is done in this country definitely needs to be re-examined for sure.
Fantastic. We've got the sheriff of Orange County here on the line for us. Sheriff, you coming in with Rob and coming in hot on KQLX.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. Thanks so much. Hey, Mr. Crean. My name's Jack Hornby, and I'm sheriff of this county. And I work a lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings, and sometimes I listen to comedy to give you a little bit of a pick me up, and listen to your record when I record. Is it appropriate to say?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. On the beat when I was working a late night, and I got to tell you, I listen to comedy to help cheer me up. I see some bad things, and this record did not cheer me up. It made me feel pretty bad. Why would you want to make us feel so badly while we're trying to feel happy?
Well, I think there's some sad stuff there, but I think overall it's got an upbeat message about how you can get help to feel better, regardless of how old you are.
We've got Sheriff Jack here. Seems like a nice guy. We actually got his wife on the phone here too. You're taking food out of their minds.
Ex-wife.
Your first ex-wife. Here she is.
That's
Jessica.
Yes. Hello. It's Jessica.
Jessica.
Hi.
Tell me why you guys broke up. Was he not full nightstick in the bedroom? You know what I mean?
You're an idiot.
I don't understand that. He had a very tiny penis, though. That's why. If that was what you were referring, I never brought his weapons into the bedroom. I was against.
I don't think most women care about the size of a penis. It's more about the sincerity.
That's not at all true. We definitely care.
All this peen talk makes me want to adjust myself.
Got a monkey in your pants.
I have to tell you, this isn't making me feel any better. Is there any way I could get a refund on the record, Mr. Crean?
You'd have to talk to the Dead and Mellow guys. I don't really handle that stuff.
You want to get back together, sweetheart, just for a night or two?
Are you talking to me or the DJ?
Honestly, anybody.
Sounds good to me.
That was me. Excuse me.
I missed the sound of that burp, baby.
Mm-hmm. I'll do it with my mouth next time.
Go ahead and do it with your mouth right now. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3. That's right on cue. Rob Crean, Sadly Sackerton, available on deadandmellow.com. Rob, you got any funny little bits and quips for us before we leave you on this one?
Sure, yeah. We've all been in quarantine, and I've been thinking that being in quarantine is, in a lot of ways, it's like being an astronaut, because.
Oh, we're out of time. All right, we've got Kiss tickets coming up after the block. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again, Rob Crean.
Thank you, guys. That was great. I feel like I got the experience.
Now I know what it's like to be married to Matt. So.
Yeah, real good, right? It's real good.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You ready for our guests that have already been here?
Let's do the interview portion of the show for the people we've already been fully conversing with.
Yes.
Were we not supposed to talk?
No, it doesn't matter. You've known this guy longer than me, and we run in very similar circles. He is
13, I believe.
Yep, Rob was 30. I still don't know what he was doing in my school.
He was auditioning for janitor.
The thing is, that's square pizza that they sell at junior high cafeterias. You can't get that anywhere else. It's not the same. And people are like, oh, just get Elio's. It's not the same.
You went to a college with my sister.
That's true.
She and you argued vehemently, and unbeknownst to each other, you didn't know that I was an interlink.
Vehemently? Is that
vehemently?
Yeah, he's mispronouncing on purpose, I think. Yeah.
Vehemently.
Like it's like vehement and like I'm saying it wrong. I can't. I'm all right. I'm gonna
behemothly.
Behemoth. Yeah, like a behemoth.
Yeah. No, the
yeah, we had Godzilla fights. Yeah.
Yeah, Godzilla fights.
V is in Victor.
Behemoth.
You hated each other in college, you and my sister, supposedly.
I wouldn't say we hated each other. I don't think we got along particularly well. I don't think your sister is the kind of person who hates people. I did not like her, certainly, but she was a lot more tolerant because she's a better person. I think we've come to a point where we get along pretty well now. But yeah, we did not get along in college. That's true.
Almost like a William F. Buckley Gore Vidal relationship, would you say?
Yeah, I was definitely Gore Vidal in that relationship.
I met you doing comedy stuff. You were in an improv troupe as well as doing stand-up with Anderson Comedy. And now you've done a very special project that you've just released, Matt. Please welcome Matt Wilding, everybody.
That whole thing was the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck editing.
Gary loves a long intro.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
You've got this comic coming out, Nightmare Man. Very exciting. This is the first print comic that you've done.
Yeah, it is. I just started doing comics a couple of months ago. I've released a couple of short digital comics on sequentialdecay.com, but this is the first time I will be putting out a print comic.
You did a Kickstarter for the comic. You did surpass your goal within 3.5 hours.
Yes, that is true. 3.5 hours.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I think you've lapped it like 3 times at this point. Is that right?
Like 2.5, yeah.
Ooh,
But yeah, if it keeps going, we're actually going to add another short story to it. So hopefully people will keep on giving. You should kickstart the show. It might actually help with promo.
hey.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea actually. We're working on stuff to give away. Like I'm making my own Welt cream using my uncle Walt's recipe.
I got a cream. You can rub it on.
What's the
I
cream?
don't know. Welt cream.
My uncle Walt used to make that. Wow.
Who?
You know, Walt cream. You've never heard of it?
I'm writing this down.
It's the best Welt cream on the market as far as I'm concerned.
I'd offer interviews with relatives on the show. You pay $150 and my grandma can be on the show.
Gary's grandmother was on the show.
You want me to sign off?
I think I can kick you off. Let me see.
Okay. If that's the way you feel, do it.
Yeah, but you could have charged Gary $150 for that.
He doesn't have it. He's not doing great.
Nope.
I'm very excited to read the comic. I read the script beforehand, and I gave you very nice, supportive notes. And,
and then you sent me a comic script, and I gave you honest, brutal, vicious notes. Incidentally, I actually did implement a number of your notes. They were important. In fact, there was a whole side power story in the comic that was completely edited out because Rob said it was stupid.
I didn't say it was stupid. I just asked you questions about it. And then you came to the conclusion that it wasn't going to work.
And you were right. I mean, I think that your feedback was really valuable, and I think the story's pretty scary, but kind of a slow burn.
It's not a superhero, Nightmare Man?
No, the name of it was kind of to give a tip of the hat to superhero comics, but the Nightmare Man is a physical incarnation of the thing that a man used to dream about when he was a child. So the comic is centered around a guy who is going through a midlife crisis and is in therapy for it, and he keeps insisting that he sees a monster from the dreams of his childhood in a cafe when he goes to get coffee. And so the psychiatrist that he's going to encourages him to confront the man that he sees in the cafe who he thinks is the monster, so he can prove to himself that it's not really a monster, so he can deal with the problems that he's really facing. As you might have guessed from the name of the comic, the man in the cafe is in fact the monster from his childhood.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
This is going to be a little awkward because we do have to do an ad right now for my upcoming graphic novel.
Sure.
If you're interested in Daydream Boy, it's a special little treat that'll tickle your brain as well as your hairs on the back of your necks. Daydream Boy, he likes you. He wants to get to know you. He follows you to a tea house, and then when you're at Talkspace therapy, he interrupts your Zoom calls with just interference. He just mucks up the Wi-Fi. Daydream Boy. For those of you that want to undercut Matt Wilding, Daydream Boy.
Do you mind if I just take a quick moment to just plug my upcoming comic?
Sure.
New from Rob Creany, Master of Horror, Night Terror Man. It's like Nightmare Man, but even scarier with more screaming that you can't control. And it's happening in real life, in your bedroom. Your spouse is totally freaked out. Night Terror Man from Master of Horror, Rob Creany.
You know what's wild about both of those pitches, and it's always so embarrassing to acknowledge this, but you guys have just kind of put me in a corner, is I got to read both of those scripts before I even started Nightmare Man. People will say that my work is a derivative of your work, and I think to some extent that's true, but it was totally unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of unconscious, Kristina Smarz is here plugging her work known as The Unconscious Bell.
Yeah. Girls have problems too. You don't have as much time to sleep.
Is that a thing we should know about?
No, it's just for me. I do work for myself for my own enjoyment.
Unconscious Bell.
I have about 1,000 copies in my house. I don't let anybody read it.
But you are advertising it.
I am advertising it. I like people to know what they can't have. You know, Gary?
Yeah. This is totally true. I have about 50 copies of a 7-inch that I put out by a band that I put away because I didn't want to support the singer anymore.
Rob also once bought an entire case of hats because he thought the hat was funny.
Yeah.
It was like pretty cheap to buy a case of them.
Yeah.
So he just had them in his trunk, and whenever anyone would comment on his hat in public, he'd be like, "Oh, I got a case of them in my trunk. Do you want one?"
Yeah.
And eventually I think you got rid of all of them, right?
No, I still have a bunch. But I did get rid of a lot of them. But also, it would be like I would wear the hat, and if someone was like, "Nice hat," like a stranger would be like, "Nice hat," I'd be like, "Here, you can have it," and I would just give it to them. This is a fun thing to do.
Cool. That's a fun bit.
Yeah, and that's how the COVID outbreak happened.
They were Bitcoin print hats. Yeah.
Or it's also to make sure that nobody else has that funny hat.
No, everyone has the hat. But everyone that has it got it from me.
Could we see a quick scene from Rob's high school reunion and telling his friends what he's been up to all this time?
Oh my God, is that Rob Crean?
Yeah.
Hey, you haven't changed at all.
Yeah, you're just as gray as I remember you.
Yeah, it's gotten a little bit lighter, but it's when I was in high school it was a dark gray, but now it's a little bit more. It's just bleached out from the sun. It's a little bit blonder now.
So what have you been up to?
Well, let me ask you this: are you familiar with Bitcoin?
Yeah. Do you own Bitcoin?
I own a bunch of hats that are printed with Bitcoin.
Oh, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
so
Is it a thing you like give people as a reward when they invest in Bitcoin that you own?
No, I don't have any actual Bitcoin. I just have Bitcoin hats.
Oh, you sold when the market went through the roof?
Yeah, you made a lot of money off of it.
Smart.
Yeah.
No, I never invested in any actual cryptocurrency. I just have a bunch of hats that have Bitcoin printed on.
So
Right.
they're made out of Bitcoin?
Bitcoin's I think doesn't exist physically.
No. It's that what he's saying is like he didn't invest in cryptocurrency because it's not cryptocurrency. It's all real currency, right?
Right. So you just got a lot of cash. Is what
Yeah.
you're saying.
I just got a lot of hats. I tip my hat to you, but I haven't got a hat.
I tip my hat to you, but I haven't got a hat.
Cool. Hey, I'm gonna go. I think my wife's waving. I gotta go. I'm sorry.
Bring. Oh, that's my cell phone. I gotta take this.
Hey, Rob.
Hey.
You want to buy a case of Standard Oil hats? 50 cents a pop.
Okay, yeah, I'll buy them. Yeah, I'll buy them.
Pull your bicycle around back.
I think Rob actually had to sell his bicycle to invest in the Bitcoin hats.
No, they were very cheap.
That was fun.
I don't want to blow by how good the artist is. Obviously I wrote the comic and I'm excited about that, but the artwork is by this guy, Matt Rowe, who is just absolutely phenomenal artist who has a really creepy aesthetic. He and I did another comic together called Little Things, and it's just creepy as hell.
Have him come on the show. We would love to showcase more of his stuff.
I should have invited him. I'm a bad partner, as Rob will attest.
Trick us into having you on twice.
That way 10 people will see you.
No, it's only 3 if you take out us from the count.
That's very possible. I'm going to check on see how many people are watching right now.
One thing for the viewers at home, Matt and Kristina and I have a long work history relationship.
Mm-hmm. Gary, how did you quit? I don't remember. I remember it being a shitty way to do it, but
I moved.
Yeah. But didn't you do something like really stupid the last day?
Believe yes. Rob, you want to tell us the numbers and we'll get into this quick.
11. So full double digits.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, breaking the mold.
I wonder how many of them used to work with us.
We worked at Kristina Smarz, also here. Very funny, super hilarious. Matt Wilding united us all. That's your intro.
Okay. Yeah.
What else do you want from me?
No, that's all I wanted. That's all I ever wanted.
Don't worry, Kristina. I came on a show to plug a book, and they didn't ask me any questions about it, so don't worry about it.
Yes, we did. We nailed that title down.
I asked questions. I was going to ask more, but Gary seemed to be drifting away from it.
We are just running out of time.
The internet only has so much room.
Go ahead, ask your question. I'm sorry.
Oh boy. So do you ever
Really?
get paper cuts?
Yeah, all the time.
You have been a huge comic book fan your whole life.
Yep.
And which comics would you say most specifically inspired the work that you're doing now?
The horror comics, not surprisingly, are the most influential stuff that I read in relation to the work I'm doing now. I'd point mostly to a lot of Neil Gaiman stuff, specifically Sandman, but also Alan Moore and Warren Ellis. But just seeing people that were like us growing up in comics was also really influential. So a lot of Brian Wood's work and Becky Cloonan's work got me thinking about how normal people, or what I perceive to be normal people, can be represented in comics.
Yeah.
That was a bad answer. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Look, it's not everything's got to be haha funny. I know Gary's always like blah blah dance monkey, but sometimes it's nice to just have a conversation.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, let's figure out why Gary got fired.
I didn't get fired.
Yeah, what did you do, Gary?
I don't remember why I fired Gary, but I know I fired Gary.
Did you spin the EMK fountain
We didn't have a fountain?
that you know of?
We all worked at the fake Senate, a scale nearly exact model of the United States Senate, and we would pretend to be senators, but we were paid like janitors and treated like monsters. It was the best of times because of us. We made each other have fun. My last day, I do remember, we do these, what they call Sims, which is a program for schools.
Which, to be clear, is not short for simulation. It's
right. It's
for Senate immersion module, even though it is in fact a simulation.
And Matt, to his credit, despite all his shortcomings, wrote a great program for the youth to understand in a very simple way over a short period of time how the Senate works. And the long and the short of it, they don't. So that takes about 6 hours. And at the end of the 6 hours, they vote on nominees. I was always a nominee. I believe Morgan Bears,
author of the hit financial book Grin and Bear It, turning oil spills into money spills.
Yeah.
That was your character?
That's my fake book that I would also plug. I always didn't know if the kids would like me or not. Sometimes I would be like, I'm going to try to lose this one. I'm going to try, because they would interview me and the kids would push me through or not. And then I would get to say something because Matt's like, hey, some stage time, take it. And I started quoting maybe Richard Nixon, which is a weird thing to do in a Kennedy building. But I just kept being like, well, no matter what you do, you won't have me to kick around anymore. And they voted me down. It was like, I think the only time I think a unanimous no. It has never happened. Where all the kids, there's at least one kid who maybe accidentally hits yes or yay, and they all hit no. And you were like, wow, Morgan Bears. Looks like, sir, you have been voted out. So I don't know why you're here. Why don't you leave my chamber? And I said, I'll leave when I'm good and ready. And I had the security guard for the facility on cue. I was like, no matter what happens, you have to escort me out. And he grabs my arm and I'm like, get off of me, get off of me. And as I'm leaving, I was like, I'll see you all. And I did one of these, and it was pretty good. Pretty solid.
Pretty good. And this is keep in mind a full scale replica of the Senate chamber, and Gary was sitting in the upper balcony, so it's this incredibly regal, formal setting, and the structure of the game is to give kids agency, so all the adults in the room are deferent to the kids, and it's a really great educational program. And then Gary is just screaming and crying and like being dragged out. His toes are being dragged to the ground. And it's not like some guy that worked at EMK, the place we used to work at. It was security. It's formal button-up logoed security dragging him out of the room, and all these 8th graders are like, yeah, get out of here, Baldy.
Pretty solid.
You got hit that day.
I really wish you had video of that. That's so funny.
They never let me back in the university.
He also used to come back when he'd lose his hearings. We'd ask him to leave, and then he'd come back like 3 minutes later, and we'd be like, what are you doing back? And he'd be like, I'm waiting for a ride from my mom, which really built empathy with the kids, I thought.
So you guys would debate all sorts of types of things, and I don't know if this has ever been mentioned before, but Gary and I actually disagree sometimes.
Really?
I watched the show, so I know that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're one of the 11?
One of the 11.
We thought it might be fun for this show, for you two who are veterans of this program, to act as senators and debate a long-standing disagreement that Gary and I have.
Immigration reform or
something like that.
Civil Rights Act.
Unfortunately, Rob and I are far more petty people.
Patriot Act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Missouri Compromise.
No,
No.
We cannot get on the same page over whether or not Forrest Gump is a good movie.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not. So that's settled.
Yep.
But it is a good movie. It's like the good movie.
No.
I think the viewers at home, maybe, because Rob and I have had this argument for a long time. I know my side. Rob knows his. We don't want to pollute people's arguments. So why don't we have a classic debate, a simple speech like we were in the Senate, and then we'll have a roll call vote.
I've just sent out a tweet on my Twitter at Rob Crean. That's just a poll. Is Forrest Gump a good movie? So if you're one of the 11 people watching, please vote based on the arguments of these two fine senators, whether or not Forrest Gump is a good movie.
Matthew, you spoke first. We should give you the floor first, and then we will then open the floor for Senator Smarz. Senator Wilding, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're faced with a serious dilemma in our society, whether or not we are going to continue to elevate films like Forrest Gump, films that celebrate a hodgepodge of chicken soup for the soul anthology filmmaking, where historic scene after historic scene fetishizes fame and unabashed nostalgia porn for boomers convinced that their time and their generation was the greatest that America ever produced. Tom Hanks is a great actor, no doubt, but he's also not the only actor of the 1990s to court Oscar favor for portraying the developmentally disabled. And though his was certainly not the most offensive of the era, it's still pretty disgusting. We as an audience are given permission to laugh at Tom Hanks's interpretation of Forrest Gump's simple ways and labored manner of speech, because he's the protagonist of the film. But at the end of the day, we, the American people, are still laughing at an actor, skilled though he may be, aping the speech patterns of affliction for laughs. Now, I don't want to make the case that supporting films like Forrest Gump and the simplicity of cheering on a guy who stumbles his way from success to success to success is what brought America to the tragic spot that it's in today. But I am going to end my speech by saying that. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield my time.
Thank you, Senator Wilding. We have a equal time response from Senator Kristina Smarz. Senator, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, senators. Hello. My name is Kristina. Kristina Smarz. Would you like a chocolate? The slow, deliberate, and yet caring words. It's with these simple words that we meet a truly decent protagonist. And while the senator from the bottom corner might argue that, we're laughing at some sort of developmental disability, it's never come out and said. We don't know what it is with Forrest. We just know that he has a special something, and it's a simplicity that we all, quite frankly, could use a little bit more of. Now, Forrest Gump, on its surface, is the story of Alabama's native son. He's underestimated. He's ignored. He's bullied. He's abandoned. In war and in peace, he was able to find his own way. So on the whole, this movie not only tells the tale of a book that has almost no pictures, so Matt, maybe it's not something that you would understand, but it is economically and socially significant. Now, first off, whether you hate, love, or are indifferent to this movie, let me ask you rhetorically, do you support getting America back to work? Are you supportive of our international allies? Are you supportive of both? Because if you are, as of July 2015, 40 Bubba Gump Shrimp Company restaurants operate worldwide. 29 of these locations are in the United States. There's 4 in Mexico, 3 in Japan, and 1 each in the United Kingdom, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Canada, the Marianas, the Philippines, and Qatar. The company is based in Houston, Texas, so that is a wealth of money coming back into the United States, and only 1.5 of them closed during COVID. Now, to throw this movie into the garbage is to take away the substantiability of human beings who pay their own bills with shrimp stew, shrimp salad, shrimp bread, shrimp paste, a fluoride alternative to tooth cleaning, and many other items. Now, many films have tried and failed to give us a restaurant counterpart. That list includes Spike Lee's Do the Bite Thing, Shakes on a Plane, and Schindler's Blints. Now, the proof is in the pudding, and no, I'm not talking about the complimentary birthday dessert available at all 40 locations. If a film can create a sustainable business, then it has to be significant. Now, socially, the movie could not be more important. Hundreds of thousands of Americans have met their sweethearts during the Bubba Gump Shrimp Discount Jenny Happy Hour. My own parents conceived me after sharing a ping pong platter of chicken thumbs. Its majesty makes it the happiest place on earth. Now, I know what you're saying. No, that's Disney World. But let me ask you how happy you'd feel if you didn't have to pay $1,000 to get in and you get chicken thumbs. Now, we don't need to point out the fact that this film won all of the awards this season. It's maybe superficial, maybe a subjective totem in Hollywood. However, it just is. It was beloved by many. But since we're here, 6 Academy Awards: Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Directing, Best Writing, Best Costumes, Best Use of shoe limpy thing. And now it beat out 2 of my favorite films, Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction. And does that mean that those are bad movies? Sure it does. But in conclusion, Senators, on a much deeper level, Forrest Gump is the story of America as experienced through Rob Crean. The similarities could not be more clear. It is the extraordinary life of an intellectually disabled man who is able to have sex at least once. So it's no surprise that Senator Matt Wilding and Rob Crean hate this movie, because to hate this movie is to hate Rob Crean.
Yep.
But let me just go on record and say, even though Rob is a masturbatory predator, the movie Forrest Gump is good. And that's all I have to say about that. I yield the rest of my time.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you. We have heard many words here today in the Senate chamber, and it is now time for you to cast your vote. We will do an unusual open state forum roll call.
It's like the Judiciary Committee in here.
If you are for the film, you will say aye, spelled like an I. If you are against the film, you will say no, spelled nay. And just for the fuck of it, please say whatever state you're from before doing the impression of the senator from that state.
Senator Gormley, great state of Alaska. I vote aye. Wait, what is aye? What is aye?
Nope, you voted aye. You voted aye.
It seems like it's good or bad. It doesn't seem like there's
Aye is good, I think.
Okay.
I'm a senator representing Massachusetts, and I've gone from kitchen tables in Boston to Worcester to Springfield, talking to working moms all across the state. And after listening to them, I've decided to vote no, spelled N-A-Y.
I'm Senator Lamoureux from the great state of Maine. Now, before this hearing, I would have voted that Forrest Gump was, in fact, a good movie, but realizing that it beat out Shawshank Redemption by Master of Horror, Stephen King, I have to say that it is, in fact, not a good movie.
I am Esmeralda Till from the great state of Dakota. And
Oh, Dakota.
like to say that I am voting aye because I like movies, and this one takes up a lot of my time.
I'm Jim Clancy from West Dakota, and I think the movie's pretty good. I liked it. I like Spielberg. I even like the Adventures of Tintin. A lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was pretty good.
You have the worst voice.
Hi, I'm Maria Hernandez. I'm this great senator from Puerto Rico. We are not yet a state, but we should be. So I'd like to vote aye, just because America.
I would just like to remind the Senate president that the senator from Puerto Rico gets to be in the chamber, but their vote does not count. That's just true.
But I'm still voting, so I'm
Cool.
still voting. So I'd like to remind the senator who's reminding the president that I'm aware of the rules, but I'd like to make my voice heard.
Yep.
I'm the senator from Florida, and everything's so cold down here, even though it's hot. I like movies. Yay!
This is Senator Peterson from the great state of California, and I think that Forrest Gump is an A+ movie. I give it 5 stars. Out of 5 stars, I'm Senator Gary Peterson, great state of California. Signing up.
I'm Kiki Latwanda from Kansas, and I just want to say no. I'm voting no, spelled N-A-Y, no. I think that this film is offensive. I think that it is offensive to people of all nations, ages, races, creeds, and I think it should be banned. I think it should be banned along with all other films starring Tom Hanks because he's too nice.
I'm Senator Bonaparte Lafayette from the great state of Mississippi. Let me just say real quick that this movie is as delicious as a po' boy sandwich on the bayou. Bibbidi bop.
Is that an I or a no?
It was just a statement.
That's a heck yes.
My name's Bill Devereaux from the state of Maryland, and I'd like to vote aye for this film, spelt N-A-Y. Aye.
Senator Bob Smith, great state of Delaware. I thought it was okay.
I'm Suzanne Collins from the great state of Maine, and I'd like to say that I'd like to take a strong position on this film with an abstain.
This is a setup from Vermont. I was just on a hike and shit, and I just heard that big old vote about my favorite guy star movie there, so I said I'm gonna jump in and say, you betcha, #1, yeah.
Yeah, it's the senator from Colorado. I was also just on a big hike, and I don't have a lot of time to watch movies. So when I watch movies, I want them to highlight a lot of different historic events that happened. So I think Forrest Gump is pretty good.
This is a setup from Portland, and I was on a hike as well, and I found myself wondering why is the soundtrack not available at my local library because I love it so much. Vote yes.
Senator Mike Jones from the Empire State, New York, and I don't think it's very good. I think the Pulp Fiction should have won the Best Picture that year.
I'm Little Bitty Morelli to anybody who likes films.
This is the senator from Arizona, and the sun's so hot here. Oh my God! Yeah.
This is Senator Boots Mikulski from Tennessee, home of Nashville, Music City. I think that the soundtrack alone makes Forrest Gump a stone cold classic.
Philip Andover. I'm from Michigan, and I have not seen the film. It was out when I was in high school, and my mom said it was too violent. And then I just couldn't get a membership at a video store for a time. And then once I finally was able to get that membership, the video stores began to close. And so I subscribed to the Netflix. But before it got to Forrest Gump on my queue, they transferred to streaming almost exclusively. And I had to make a choice. Do I save a couple of dollars a month, or do I continue getting videos sent to me at home? I chose the latter. as you know, we all had films that just kept on getting lowered on our queue, and Forrest Gump has never been streaming for free. So I just am embarrassed to say I've never seen it. That said, no, I vote no.
My name is Brigham White Knuckle from Utah, and I think that Forrest Gump had a little bit too much suggestive material in it for me, so I think it's a bad movie.
Is that a witch hat?
Regular hat. Be worn by anyone.
My name is Clovis Dummies. I got dummies. That's right. Clovis dummies all throughout Utah. You can talk to them. They won't get you sick. You can even kiss them. They won't tell. Dummies. Why they got nipples but no areolas? Dummies. Hey, we're both voting yes. Utah.
Well, let's see what Twitter says.
Look at the final poll. Do we have...
Oh, it looks like they said, please stop.
Wow, I cannot believe it. This whole time, it has been very much no in the lead, but yes has come through with an upset. We got 21 votes. 52% of people say yes, it is a good movie, whereas 48% say that it is not.
Senators, well done. That is the cooling whip of legislation. The Senate. It is not a topping. It's not a dessert. It's just Cool Whip. And what happens after some of this stuff gets discussed between our fellow senators? Nothing. Not a thing. No. You'd think there'd be a point to all of this, but we just need a building to go to every day. God, I miss my wife. And we are adjourned.
Look, po' boys, jambalaya, scampi, cocktail. 4 good ways to eat shrimp.
Mhm.
That's it. There's not a single other good way to eat shrimp. So that's just one more thing that's wrong with that movie.
Have you ever had shrimp before, Rob?
I've seen it. No.
Yeah.
I've had it. Yeah, I had it. It's gross. It's fucking gross. It tastes. It's like biting into tendons. It's disgusting. You have to pull out the poop vein before you eat it.
No, you don't.
You don't have to.
True, you don't have to, I guess. That is true.
420. We've had a lot of fun.
This was very fun.
It's been a joy.
Nightmare Man. Buy it.
Yeah, please back it.
My unemployment goes through on Tuesday, so I will send you the government's portion of your Kickstarter support system.
Your sister who hates me already backed it.
I had to buy this dummy through the nose.
You're doing a lot better than Gary.
In so many ways.
But how many?
I was on her
dummies
show.
did she
I was on
have?
her show last week too. It was a lot smoother.
What's Cassie Peterson's show called?
It's called Cassie to Cassie. It's just her talking to herself in a mirror.
This is a fun show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Hey, no one got hurt.
Much.
Rob just talked about his feelings getting hurt. It's par for the course.
My feelings are always hurt.
It's true.
It's my birthday tomorrow, and this is how I wanted to celebrate. Was telling none of you.
That is not true. That your birthday is tomorrow.
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
You want to see my license?
Yeah, show it on the internet, please.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Check Facebook. Facebook can't lie.
Well, happy birthday, Gary. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do for your birthday?
I'm gonna dress up like Larry Bird.
Like business casual Larry Bird or game time Larry Bird?
Oh, it is your birthday.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Thanks,
Yeah,
friend.
Look, it is.
My license. That's why I couldn't find
Why does Rob have your license?
friends.
Yeah.
You're actually showing the part you're not supposed to show, the number.
My social security number.
There we go.
Now you're showing his address. You should probably just block that whole part.
I look like one of the Proud Boys in that picture. It's not very good.
Oh, look, it's got his ATM PIN number on the back.
Oh my God. In 4 months when we do the episode about how Gary got his identity stolen.
Did you always love having a birthday on October 4th so you could be like, 10-4, good buddy?
It's when my best friend died in high school. It was 10-4.
Oh, well.
But it's my birthday, so let's bring it back to me. I did love.
Today is Shakira's birthday. I didn't realize that you and Shakira were one day off. That's crazy.
Wow, those are two of your best friends, and you didn't know that.
I'm a bad friend. You know that.
He does his best, just like Forrest Gump, in spite of his shortcomings. Nobody knows when this show ends. Thank you again for tuning in and voting, and my guests and our guests and Rob Crean, Matt Wilding, Kristina Smarz. Ladies and gentlemen, that is co-host to co-host. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
We have dozens of viewers.
I like that movie.
I disagree, Gary.